The story begins inside a hospital, where a beautiful nurse named Gwen is taking care of one of her patients. The patient is an elderly woman, and she suddenly starts struggling to breathe. Instead of giving her oxygen, Gwen shuts off the oxygen supply and squeezes the breathing tube, making it impossible for the woman to get any air. Within moments, her heart stops beating. No one realizes the real danger is standing right beside the hospital bed. Gwen immediately pretends to panic and starts yelling for help so a doctor will rush into the room. A few seconds later, the doctor arrives and begins performing CPR, desperately trying to bring the elderly patient back. Meanwhile, Gwen stands quietly by the doorway with a smile on her face, making it clear she's a psychotic nurse who actually enjoys watching her patients suffer. Saving lives means nothing when someone secretly enjoys watching people suffer. Somehow, the doctor manages to save the elderly woman's life and eventually leaves the room. Gwen doesn't look guilty at all. There isn't even the slightest hint of regret on her face for what she just did. The scene then shifts to a family: Todd, Mira, and their son, Max. Mira is making breakfast for her husband when Max walks in and tells them that his legs have been hurting. What looks like an ordinary morning is about to take a disturbing turn. Max actually has a condition called muscular dystrophy, which leaves him unable to walk on his own, so he relies on a pair of crutches to get around. Mira can't help worrying because Max always goes up and down the stairs by himself, and that's why his legs often end up hurting. Seeing how anxious she is, Todd tries to calm her down, telling her that's completely normal and she doesn't need to worry so much. Around that time, we see the psychotic nurse, Gwen, who has been hired to take care of Max. She lives with a family like one of their own and looks after him every day. Sometimes the greatest danger hides behind the person everyone completely trusts. The four of them sit down and have breakfast together. During the meal, Max accidentally drops one of his crutches. Gwen quickly helps him pick it up, but while doing it, she secretly loosens the rubber tip at the bottom so he'll eventually fall because of it. Gwen does things like this purely for her own amusement, just like we saw at the beginning of the story. Every act of kindness is quietly covering something far more disturbing underneath. A little later, Todd starts getting ready for work while Mira brushes off his suit before he leaves. Watching the two of them together makes Gwen jealous because she started developing feelings for Todd, and that's exactly why she envies Mira. After Todd leaves, Mira's friend Karen comes over. While Mira and Karen are talking, Gwen keeps playing with Max as she quietly listens to their conversation. Obsession has already taken root, and no one notices it growing. Karen tells Mira that she feels Max and Todd have grown a little too attached to Gwen, and she thinks Mira should consider hiring a different nurse instead. But Mira disagrees, explaining that Gwen has taken great care of Max so far, and she truly believes she's the perfect caregiver for him. Just then, they suddenly hear Max scream after one of his crutches gives out, causing him to fall. Mira immediately blames Gwen, convinced the accident happened because of her carelessness. But Max tells his mom that none of it was Gwen's fault. The perfect cover works best when no one questions what really happened. Since the crutch is broken, Mira calls Dr. Keller and arranges for a new pair of crutches for Max. That night, she apologizes to Gwen for losing her temper because she believes Gwen did nothing wrong. Gwen gently tells her there's no need to apologize because she understands how worried any mother would be about her son. But we already know the truth. Gwen is the one who secretly loosened the crutch, causing Max's fall in the first place. The truth stays hidden while everyone believes an expertly crafted lie. After that, Gwen makes Mira a cup of herbal tea to help her relax. The following day, Mira joins a muscular dystrophy support group where the relatives and friends of people living with the same condition share their experiences. As Mira talks about Max, she breaks down in tears, heartbroken that her son can't run around and play like other kids his age. Her pain is real, but the nightmare surrounding her is only beginning.
When Mira gets back home, Gwen suddenly walks over and offers her the same herbal tea again. Mira finds it a little strange, but she doesn't think much of it. Later that day, while Mira is asleep on the couch, Dr. Keller stops by the house to drop off Max's new crutches and heads upstairs to see him. Gwen quickly stops her, explaining that Max is asleep and shouldn't be disturbed, so Dr. Keller decides to leave. Before she goes, though, she studies Gwen's face and says she feels like she knows her from somewhere, but just can't remember where. She promises that if it comes back to her, she'll let Gwen know. Some memories stay buried until they suddenly become dangerously important. That same evening, Gwen goes to Dr. Keller's house and tells her she still remembers her. She then walks inside and injects Dr. Keller with a drug. After that, Gwen reveals they used to work together at the same hospital. The elderly patient Gwen tried to kill at the beginning of the story was the very same patient Dr. Keller managed to save. The past never disappears when someone is desperate to keep it hidden. Gwen openly admits that she was the one who tried to murder that patient. From everything she says, it's clear she has a deep hatred for happy families, and that's exactly why she targets them and kills them. This time, Todd's family has become her next target. Her obsession isn't random. It's driven by something far more disturbing. Gwen knows Dr. Keller could expose the truth, so she kills her with the drug injection before that can happen. Later that night, Mira gets a phone call from a man named David, who tells her he's a member of the muscular dystrophy support group she recently joined. He also says that his own son has muscular dystrophy. Hearing that immediately strikes an emotional chord with Mira, and she wants to see what David looks like, but his profile picture is blurred, so she can't make out his face. Sometimes the most comforting voice belongs to someone hiding the darkest secret. David explains that his wife has passed away, so he hired a live-in nurse to help care for his son. Mira tells him she thinks that was the right decision, but the truth is far more disturbing. David isn't real at all. It's actually Gwen, using a computer to disguise her voice while pretending to be someone else. Every conversation is carefully designed to pull Mira deeper into the trap. The following morning, Karen comes over to Mira's house and accidentally spills her drink on Todd's shirt. Gwen takes the shirt into the laundry room to clean it. A few moments later, Mira asks Karen to grab her bag from another room. As Karen walks past the laundry room, she catches Gwen smelling Todd's shirt. Karen instantly realizes Gwen has feelings for Todd, but she keeps it to herself because she's afraid the truth could destroy Mira's family. Silence becomes another weapon when the truth is too painful to reveal. Later that night, Gwen once again calls Mira while pretending to be David and asks how Max has been doing. Mira tells him she hasn't felt right ever since the day Max fell. Hearing that, Gwen suggests she take a closer look at the nurse caring for her family. As soon as the call ends, Gwen immediately walks into Mira's bedroom, so it looks like she just happened to catch her talking to another man on the phone. Every move is carefully planned, long before anyone notices the pattern. Her plan works perfectly. Gwen accuses Mira of betraying Todd and even tells Todd that Mira was just talking to another man. Gwen hopes Todd will become suspicious and turn against his wife, but instead Todd stands up for Mira. He says she's been overwhelmed lately, working too hard and not getting enough sleep, so there's nothing to worry about. Trust becomes the one thing Gwen simply cannot break apart. Suddenly, Gwen hugs Todd and wishes him good night. She wants Todd for herself, and she's constantly looking for ways to get closer to him. The next morning, Gwen and Todd are together in the kitchen, while Mira is still asleep. Gwen seems determined to spend as much time with him as possible, even trying to impress him by casually touching him. Just then, Mira walks in and notices that Gwen has already finished every chore around the house. Her perfect image keeps growing, while her true intentions stay completely hidden. Todd starts worrying about Mira because he keeps finding her asleep on the couch. Around that time, Mira gets a call from Karen, who thanks her for sending flowers for her birthday. Mira is completely confused because she never sent Karen any flowers. Karen becomes concerned about Mira and suggests she should see a doctor. Soon after, Mira finds out that it was actually Gwen who sent the flowers on her behalf. Gwen explains that Mira forgot Karen's birthday, so she sent the flowers for her instead. Every thoughtful gesture quietly pulls Gwen deeper into their lives. While they're talking, Mira suddenly faints. Gwen catches her before she falls and helps her inside. Mira says she wants to see a doctor, but asks Gwen not to tell Todd about what happened. Gwen tells her there's no need to go to the hospital because she'll draw a blood sample herself and send it to the lab for testing. The person offering help is secretly controlling every step of the crisis. That night, Mira talks to David and opens up about the problems she's been having at home. Just then, Todd and Max arrive, so she quickly hangs up the phone. Mira wants to take Max upstairs to his room, but her vision suddenly becomes blurry. She promises Max she'll be right behind him, but she's so exhausted that she falls asleep on the couch instead. While she's sleeping, she receives a text from a man named Weber saying that David is a fraud. The first real warning arrives, but it almost goes completely unnoticed. The next morning, Todd tries to wake Mira up and notices the messages on her phone. He has no idea who David and Weber are or why Mira has been talking to them. Max is confused too, wondering why his mum has been sleeping so much lately. Gwen has already taken care of every chore around the house, so Mira feels guilty for doubting her. The first thing she does is apologize to Gwen. Gwen is pleased because she feels like the family has finally accepted her as one of their own. The closer Gwen gets to the family, the safer her lies become. Around that time, Mira receives another message about David, and Gwen notices it as well. Mira replies, asking the sender to stop bothering her. She then gets herself ready for work and meets Karen at the office. Mira tells her that her blood test came back normal and says Gwen was right, she just needed some rest. Karen advises her to see a doctor who has no connection to Gwen, but Mira brushes the suggestion aside. Every ignored warning quietly pushes the truth farther out of reach. Meanwhile, Gwen sends Mira another email while pretending to be David, claiming that Weber is trying to ruin his reputation. Moments later, Mira receives an email from Weber saying that his child is in danger and asking to meet her. When Mira gets home, she tells Todd about Weber and says she's planning to meet him at a cafe. As she's saying this, Todd overhears the conversation. One misunderstanding is all Gwen needs to tear everything apart. Todd is devastated because he now believes Mira is cheating on him. Later, Mira goes to a cafe where she she finally meets Weber. That's when she discovers that Weber is actually the real David. David tells her he doesn't have a child and has never spoken to her before. Someone has been using his name to contact her the entire time. The truth finally surfaces, but the real danger is still invisible. David explains that his wife, Laurel, had cancer and was going through chemotherapy. One day, she received emails from someone who slowly gained her trust and convinced her to stop chemotherapy and quit seeing her doctor. Because of that, Laurel eventually died. David then shows Mira a picture of the person who had been emailing his wife. Mira realizes it's the same man who had been pretending to be David while talking to her, but she still doesn't suspect Gwen. Every answer uncovers another layer of an even darker deception. Outside the cafe, Todd has secretly followed Mira. He watches her hug David, and that convinces him she's really been unfaithful. At the same time, Karen goes to Mira's house to drop off a bag, but she also wants to confront Gwen. Karen tells Gwen she saw her smelling Todd's shirt and knows she has feelings for him. She warns Gwen that if she ever does anything to hurt Mira's family, she'll have to answer to her. The confrontation begins, and Gwen finally realizes she's being watched. After saying that, Karen starts leaving the house, but before she can get far, Gwen attacks her from behind and knocks her unconscious. She then drives Karen to a deserted area and injects her with a lethal drug, leaving her there to die before walking away. Back at the house, Mira is making dinner when Gwen returns after taking Max to his physical therapy session. Without anyone noticing, she secretly steals one of Mira's kitchen knives. She then leaves, pretending she's going to visit some old friends, but instead heads straight to David's house. Every move Gwen makes is carefully planned, long before anyone notices. There, we learn that Gwen used to be David's wife's nurse. She was also the one who pretended to be someone else online and convinced David's wife to stop her medical treatment and quit seeing her doctor. Gwen then stabs David to death with Mira's knife and pours Mira's blood beside his body so the police will believe Mira committed the murder. After that, she takes David's bag and leaves the house. The perfect frame-up is already complete before anyone discovers the crime. That same night, Todd comes home drunk. He's been devastated by everything happening with Mira, so he drank far too much. Taking advantage of the situation, Gwen gets close to him, leads him into his bedroom, and begins making advances. But Todd stays loyal to his wife and tells Gwen to leave the room. The following morning, Mira wakes up and sees a message from David saying he couldn't sleep all night because of his little boy. Even the smallest message is hiding another deadly piece of Gwen's plan. The message was actually sent by Gwen, so the police would believe Mira had murdered David. As Mira reads it, her eyes stop on the words, little boy. She suddenly remembers that both David and Gwen always use that exact phrase. For the first time, she begins to suspect Gwen. Mira dumps out the water from her bottle and notices a strange powder inside. That's when she realizes Gwen has been secretly drugging her drinking water for days, explaining why she's been so unusually sleepy. Tiny details finally begin exposing the truth hiding in plain sight. Mira quietly searches Gwen's room and finds a book filled with information about poisonous drugs. She also discovers several medications hidden underneath the bed. Just then, Gwen comes home, forcing Mira to leave the room before she's caught. Gwen immediately notices that Mira is still awake and realizes she never drank the drugged water. One missed dose changes everything Gwen believed she still controlled. Mira tries to figure out exactly what Gwen has been giving her. Moments later, Gwen brings her another drink and encourages her to get some rest. She then says it's time to take Max to his physical therapy appointment. Mira tells them to skip today's session, but the situation quickly slips beyond her control. The truth is finally uncovered, but Gwen is already making her next move. Max doesn't want to miss therapy because there's a football game happening at the same facility, so Mira can't convince him to stay home. After Gwen and Max leave, Mira goes back into Gwen's room and records a video explaining everything Gwen has done. She also calls Todd, tells him what's happening, and heads to the police station to report Gwen. Mira finally decides to fight back before it's too late, but Gwen suddenly returns home because she's already figured out that Mira knows the truth. Mira notices Max isn't with her and immediately demands that Gwen take her to him. As they drive, Gwen admits she's cared for many patients over the years, but no family ever treated her like one of their own. She says Todd's family accepted her as a member, so she's going to kill Mira, take her place, and build a new family for herself. The real reason is simple. She's obsessed with Todd and wants Mira out of the way forever. Gwen's twisted dream has finally become terrifyingly clear to everyone. Meanwhile, Todd arrives home looking for Mira. While searching the house, he finds Mira's phone. He watches the video she recorded and finally learns the horrifying truth about Gwen and everything she's done. The evidence finally reveals the nightmare hiding inside their own home. Gwen tells Mira that she already killed Dr. David. Hearing that, Mira immediately starts worrying about Max. A short time later, Gwen takes Mira to her own house. As soon as they arrive, Mira desperately searches for Max. Gwen calmly tells her that Max is still at the physical therapy clinic
clinic and admits she only brought Mira there to kill her. She also reveals that she murdered David with a knife carrying Mira's fingerprints and planted Mira's blood at the crime scene. As far as the police are concerned, Mira will be the murderer, and Todd and Max will eventually turn against her. Every part of Gwen's horrifying plan has been carefully prepared from the start. Mira tries to run, but Gwen catches her, and the two begin fighting. During the struggle, Mira manages to grab a heavy pan and slams it into Gwen's head, knocking her unconscious. She immediately escapes and races back home. One desperate fight finally gives Mira a chance to survive. In the end, Todd, Mira, and Max are reunited and finally return to living a happy life together. Gwen is arrested, convicted of murder, and sent to prison. With that, the movie comes to an end. Justice finally catches up with a monster hiding behind a nurse's smile. Sometimes the scariest part isn't what you just watched. It's realizing how easily it could have happened. If stories that leave you thinking are your kind of stories, subscribe to KTS Mosan. Now ask yourself, if you were in their place, would you have made it out alive?